Daniel Bryan is doing phenomenal things as the new Daniel Bryan, aka a vegan band, on SmackDown Live. Much was understandably expected of him following his in-ring return at last year's WrestleMania, and although things might not have gone the way they were initially planned, oh good, a feud with Big Cass. Simply because he's just so bloody good, Daniel Bryan has made it work. He still has a lot to do to match his first run in WWE, of course, where he formed a beloved weird tag team with Kane, infamously main evented WrestleMania 30, and made Vince McMahon question everything that he holds dear, before remembering he's always right and we're always wrong. However, for some wrestlers, a second go around yields far better results than their first time in WWE. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, and these are 10 WWE wrestlers whose second run eclipsed their first. Number 10, R-Truth. R-Truth's first WWE run was so forgettable that many fans have forgotten that it happened altogether. You know, like how you forgot that The New Day started out looking like this, or that Curtis Axel was a Paul Heyman guy for a bit. Ah, those were the days. Anyway, between 2000 and 2002, he portrayed K-Quick, mostly appearing on C-shows like Heat and Jax. After getting his marching orders, Truth went to work for TNA, where he remained for nearly 5 years, capturing the NWA World Heavyweight Championship twice before his main event spot was taken by the likes of Christian and Kurt Angle. He returned to WWE in 2008, a far more experienced competitor, this time establishing the gimmick we all know and love? By entering the ring through the crowd and encouraging fans to join him in a communal rap song. He's never quite managed to reach the promised land, but for a short spell in 2011, briefly flirted with a run at John Cena and the WWE title. And Vince thinks he's the funniest thing since pushing fully clothed people into swimming pools. Number 9, UMAGA. After one or two cameo appearances, Edward Fatu got his first real chance in WWE in 2002, where he was introduced by Eric Bischoff under the name Jamal as part of 3 Minute Warning. They'd basically come out and beat up anyone who was too boring for TV. Could use some of that nowadays. But ironically, they couldn't garner any crowd reaction themselves. Released from the company the following year, Fatu spent 2 years freelancing before returning to our screens in the spring of 2006. This time under the guise of UMAGA, or as William Regal would call him, Umanja, a fast-moving Samoan bulldozer managed by the loudmouth Armando Estrada. It was during this spell that Fatu very nearly shattered WWE's glass ceiling, wrestling a spectacular match with John Cena at the 2007 Royal Rumble, before partaking in Donald Trump's WrestleMania wager a few months later. I wonder what he's up to now at Number 8, Eddie Guerrero. Yes, Eddie Guerrero's WWE career was in fact split in 2 runs. The first, which began in early 2000 when he jumped ship from WCW, actually ended in November of the following year when he was released following real-life legal trouble. He spent 6 months away from the company before they brought him back to pad out the post-brand extension roster. There's no real comparison here. Much of his original run was spent as part of the Radicals, an over-group to be sure, but a long way from threatening the likes of Rock, Austin, and Triple H at the top of the card. On his return, after initially playing a pivotal role in the newly formed SmackDown Doubles division, he became World Champion at No Way Out 2004, capturing the belt from Brock Lesnar in one of the most memorable and tear-jerking title wins we're ever likely to see. I'm not crying. You're crying. Number 7, Christian. Like fellow Attitude Era luminary Jeff Hardy, and we'll get to him, Christian's 2 WWE runs are best classified as the one in which he was a star of the tag team division and the one in which he finally became a star in his own right. In his first stint on Vince McMahon's payroll between 1998 and 2005, he formed one of the very best 2 pieces the company has ever seen, alongside real-life best bud Edge. Oh, and was a vampire for a bit too. This one, however, saw him repeatedly locked out of the main event by more experienced or more marketable colleagues. In round 2, he righted all of those wrongs, winning the big gold belt against Alberto Del Rio at Extreme Rules 2011. albeit losing it a mere 48 hours later. Why, Teddy, why? And going on to what was a fairly decent run at the top of the card for someone in his late 30s with a bit of a weird tan. Number 6, Jeff Hardy. Even the most ardent fans of Team Extreme have to concede that Jeff Hardy's second WWE run between 2006 and 2009 absolutely blew the first out of the water. And it's not like either of them were bad either. Alongside brother Matt, Jeff became a key component to the super competitive Attitude Era tag team division during round 1, playing his role in some landmark moments such as the WrestleMania X7 TLC 3-way, basically nearly killing himself on a weekly basis. But attempts at a singles run during this period went badly. The one highlight being that incredible ladder match he fought against WWE champ The Undertaker on Raw. It was a completely different story when he went solo in 2007. This time, with a groundswell of support from all sections of the crowd, the charismatic Enigma finally made real his dreams of becoming a world champion. A feat he repeated twice more before heading off to TNA and holding the ugliest belt in history. Number 5. Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal's initial WWE run between 2011 and 2014 is pretty much remembered for 2 things. The first of which being the fact that he feuded with the great Khali over Santino Marella's snake hand puppet. The second is that he formed a stable alongside fellow shipwrecked jobbers Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater. They called themselves 3MB, which is about as much memory space as you'd need to store all of their highlights. That's right, nerds, a data joke. I'm so alone. In round 2, Jinder became the modern-day Maharaja, capturing the WWE Championship from Randy Orton at Backlash in one of the biggest upsets in the history of the company. Yeah, that actually happened. It was an incredible turnaround in fortunes, and while it may not have been to the taste of many or even any of the fans, it should at least provide hope for any budding young wrestlers whose WWE dream ends in tatters the first time around. You can get back there again, provided you have mega muscles thanks to broccoli. Number 4, Chris Jericho. In truth, Chris Jericho leaves and comes back so frequently that I've lost count of how many runs he's had. But for our purposes, we're going to take Y2J's second run to mean the one between 2007 and 2010. This was the best run of his career. Fight me. It was during this period that he finally shook off the tag of a mid-carder punching above his weight, for a short while becoming the company's leading heel during his feud with HBK. Don't get me wrong, his first run between 1999 and 2005 was great as well, but it was also inconsistent. His brilliant debut was followed by a prolonged spell pursuing secondary titles, and his undisputed title win was followed by a disappointing climax alongside Triple H, where he was a third wheel as bloody champion. Number 3, Brock Lesnar. Until recently, Brock Lesnar's first run on the WWE roster between 2002 and 2004 actually yielded more minutes in the ring than his current run. Lazy b****. Wait, no one tell him I said that. To this, we owe the fact that the Beast Incarnate is no longer an up-and-coming young athlete with everything to prove. Instead, he's the company's biggest mainstream draw, a man who only needs to show up 4 or 5 times a year, and one of those is to collect his money. As well as quantity, the quality of his matches was arguably a smidgen better the first time around, but he's produced more blockbuster internet-exploding encounters during round 2. Ultimately, though, none of that really matters. Ending Undertaker's WrestleMania streak is the WWE equivalent of catching the golden snitch. As such, whichever run in which he accomplished this feat has to take the mantle of best, if only out of respect for the industry. Number 2, Goldberg. The fact that Goldberg's second WWE run so comfortably eclipsed his first, despite the fact that it comprised of just 4 matches, the longest of them lasting 4.5 minutes, tells you everything you need to know about the first one. Originally debuting in 2003, the former WCW star suffered from a concerted push to move away from the formula that had previously served him so well. Instead of putting his opponents away in seconds, he began contesting long and necessarily boring matches. I wonder whose idea that was. We got one or two nice moments, but it was just disappointing overall, exemplified by the turgid way in which he signed off at WrestleMania 20. Oh, just piss off, both of you. Compare this with his second WWE run, in which he broke the internet by slaying Brock Lesnar inside 80 seconds, captured the Universal title from Kevin Owens at Fastlane faster than a wet snuggle with Adam Cleary, and then nearly stole the show at WrestleMania. Yeah, there's really no contest. Number 1, Shawn Michaels. This inclusion may be a contentious one for some fans. After all, Shawn Michaels' first run, ending with that back injury in 1998, saw him capture the WWE title 3 times and headline WrestleMania twice. Yeah, not bad. In terms of accolades, the second run between 2002 and 2010 can't really compare. He only held the World Heavyweight Championship once, for about 5 minutes, and though he closed out the show of shows 3 times, one of them was in a triple threat, and another, or so we assume, was because Triple H got injured. But that is a crude way of measuring success. If you look to match quality instead, you're likely to reach the opposite viewpoint, particularly when you take stock of the For the Ages classics he'd share with Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, John Cena, and, of course, The Undertaker. Oh, and that time he decapitated Shelton Benjamin on Raw. Though HBK had perhaps lost some of his athleticism after returning from 4 years on the sidelines, he also became a more polished and, importantly, selfless performer. Something that helped him put over countless up-and-comers during his time in the upper mid-card. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you can check out some more of our recent videos here. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from WhatCulture, and I'll see you soon.